Hi, this is Andy XL back with another NFXL podcast, and this is my December update ahead of the 2026 draft for the defensive tackle class. So let's get straight into it by looking at the top candidate in this class, and he still remains top candidate in the class, even though Clemson, his team, have had a poorish season. It's Peter Woods, the junior. Now, his versatility to play pretty much anywhere on the D line, and his strength, particularly against the run, despite Clemson struggling this season, his prospects are not on the slide. He continues to have a chance to be a top 10 overall draft selection and is clearly the top defensive tackle or interior defensive lineman. Or, as I say, he could be deployed anywhere across the D line. He has that versatility. He's still the leading candidate. So the second guy now is Caden McDonald, a junior out of Ohio State. Um, 24, he's risen right up my list and everybody's list, really. He's had a great season. He's junior out of Ohio State, 6'3", 326 pound with a 5'15" 24 tackles, 3 sacks and a forced fumble. Marked a really strong start to the season. A further 33 tackles and a strong overall campaign have vaulted him right up to DT2 and into possible first round pick territory. He's a beast against the run, so any team looking to improve against the run will be very, very interested in McDonald. They're the two round one guys I have. Now in round two is Caleb Banks, the DT3 on my list, senior out of Florida. Having just played just 3 games this season, the scheme versatile Banks has now slid below McDonald and into round 2 territory. He may need to reassure teams about his health to hold on to that. His tackling is another issue that will be a concern to teams, so he drops one place from October and could slide further pre-draft. At 4 now is Kristen Miller, a junior out of Georgia. My update comment for him is that he had a quiet start to the season, but the absence of Banks may have opened up a chance of getting into round 1. But he didn't grasp that opportunity in the way McDonald has, and he may be competing with Caden McDonald to be the first run stuffer type taken, as he is far stronger against the run and is limited as a pass rusher. So at the moment, for me, he remains a round 2 prospect, and he's down 1 spot from my October update. Now, the third guy that I've got in round 2 and number 5 on my defensive tackle list is Amari Washington, junior out of Oregon. Washington has been a key part of Oregon's perfect start to the 25 for the season, was my earlier comment, and as such, he jumped into my rankings at 6. Well, now he's up 1 and into round 2 possibly after a really good complete season and may well move up further given the quieter seasons of Banks and Miller. He's a raw talent that has upside and could be the type to shine at the combine. Even if he does, that rawness, though, could still keep him out of day 1 of the 2026 draft, as people may see him as a development project. Let's move into round 3 now, and the 6th defensive tackle on my list, Darrell Jackson, the senior at Florida State. He drops from 5, but still looks to have plenty of ability in both pass and run defense. Consistency is an issue for him, both in technique and maintaining the highest levels of performance. So that's why the reasons really that I see him slipping into 3 at the moment. The 7th DT is Xavier Harris, senior at Ole Miss. Now, Harris has climbed right up my rankings. He's up 3 from October, having not even been in my original list. He is the proverbial man mountain, but does have other qualities in his repertoire. 43 tackles and 3 sacks to his name this season, and has surprising agility and speed for a guy of that size. He has had off-field issues in his junior year in 2024, so teams will need to reassure that those sort of incidents are behind him. But his on-field activities will certainly get scouts' attention. 8 in this list is Dominique Orange, a senior at Iowa State. He drops 1 from October after coming back from an early season injury. Another whose tackling technique is far from great. A lack of speed is another issue, and that's why he's falling into round 3. But he still looks like a late day 2 prospect right now. At 9 is Dante Corleone, the Godfather, senior at Cincinnati. He's dropped into round 3 now, another who is much better against the run than the pass and has physical issues that he cannot solve in terms of height and wingspan. So he's not really done well enough to overcome those to move out of round 3. He's also dropped 3 spots actually to 9 in this list from my October update. So let's have a quick look at some round 4 guys. So CJ Fight, a junior out of Arizona State, on the small side for the position, but makes it up with good instincts and technique. 2 good years of production at Arizona State, but can he make up into more than a depth guy in the NFL is the question that I would pose. At 11 on my DT list is, and in round 4 again, Mateen Ibirogba, a junior at Wake Forest. Despite adding bulk, he's still on the light side, but does have a great wingspan and speed on his size. Possibly better against the pass than the run, but does not have a great deal of playing experience behind him, with only 1 full season at Wake behind him. But he has had a good 2025 for the Demon Deacons, so he comes into my list for the first time at 11. Zane Durant at 12, 42 tackles and 3 sacks for the Nittany Lions last season. He's down 3 spots despite a good season for Penn. His speed will surely get him admiring glances, but with that comes a lack of bulk and wingspan, which will likely limit him come draft time, unless somebody thinks they have a scheme specific spot they think he can fill in their roster. So just some others to be aware of. I think like I said, they're the main guys that I've got in my list as the top candidates to go in the first 3 or 4 rounds. But just some others that are on the outside looking in at the moment, but keep an eye on them. And I'll just give them a brief name check. Tim Keenan, the senior at Alabama, an ankle injury and doing very little in the 2 games he played has dropped Keenan down this list. Lee Hunter is a senior at Texas State. So keep an eye on him. Skylar Gill Howard, another senior at Texas Tech. So 2 of them. Both of them are sort of on the outside looking in at round 4 at the moment. But don't be surprised if they do pop up in come draft time. And the final one is DeMonte Capehart, the senior at Clemson. Another one who's probably suffered as Clemson's form has suffered. So that wraps out my defensive tackles, my top list anyway. So if we were looking to go back to the top, 11.5 per draft, I've basically got, I'm just double checking myself here, I've basically got 12 in the first 4 rounds. So we've got a pretty average draft class overall. Average is, that sounds like a negative term. I don't mean that. It's a pretty standard class, would be a better way to put it. So that's how I see the defensive tackles at the moment. Next piece will come in this series will be to do with the what I call the edge guys. So people who either play defensive end or outside linebacker. And there's plenty to look at there. So that'll be my next piece in the next day or 2. So keep an eye out for that. And then following on straight after that will be the one that looks at inside linebackers and safeties. They really fill the heart of the defense. They're the central piece of it. And quite often you find the defensive captains there. So I think those 2 positions are hugely undervalued. So I'll have a look at them. And then next week sometime I'll get to the final piece. So I'll look at cornerbacks. So that's what's going to be coming up, reader draft. But later today, I'll put out my preview of tonight's game, the Thursday night game, and then probably on Saturday, because I want to wait on the team news for particularly at wide receiver for the Chicago Green Bay game before I come to a conclusion on that one. So I'll put out the preview for the 2 Saturday games on Saturday, and then you'll have to come back for parts 3 and 4, looking at the early and late games on Sunday. So that's all going to be upcoming in the next few days. So a busy time for me, and now I've got to really sit down and plan how I'm going to go about Christmas week, where the games all over the place to keep you updated on everything. All right, so take care, and I'll see you soon.